In this short lecture, we'll look at the characteristics of transitive and intransitive verbs. Then, we'll discuss the difference between direct and indirect objects. In order to better understand direct and indirect objects, we first need to understand the difference between transitive and intransitive verbs. Let's look at the meaning of transitive. Transitive, according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, means having or taking a direct object. Therefore, transitive verbs need direct objects. Intransitive verbs do not. For transitive verbs, a direct object completes the meaning of the sentence. For example, Miss Ellis gives homework. The direct object, homework, completes the sentence and tells us what is given. Without the direct object, homework, the sentence isn't complete. We would wonder, give what? What does Miss Ellis give? Cookies? Lectures? Headaches? What? Transitive verbs like give must have a direct object. The direct object completes the meaning of the sentence. Here is a short list from oxforddictionaries.com of common transitive verbs in English that must be followed by a direct object. On the other hand, intransitive verbs do not have or take an object. For example, Miss Ellis laughed. In this sentence, we do not need an object to complete the meaning. A few other examples of common intransitive verbs include cry, work, and talk. Other verbs in English can be both transitive and intransitive, depending on the context. That means sometimes these verbs need direct objects, and sometimes they don't. Let's look at the verb to start, for example. Class starts. Here the verb starts is intransitive. It doesn't need a direct object to complete the meaning of the sentence. The teacher starts the class early. In this example, starts is transitive. We need to know what the teacher starts in order to complete the meaning of the sentence. Class receives the action of the verb start. Class is what is started early. You can find more information about transitive and intransitive verbs in your Grammar and Beyond textbook on pages 291 to 294. Here is a list from oxforddictionaries.com of English verbs that can be either transitive or intransitive depending on context. As we've just seen, direct objects are connected to transitive verbs. Sentences with transitive verbs must be followed by a direct object in order to complete the meaning of the sentence. However, what's the difference between direct objects and indirect objects? Let's take a look. Direct objects are people or things that receive the action of the verb. Indirect objects are people or things that receive the direct object. For example, the teacher gave me a test, or the teacher gave a test to me. In both sentences, the test is what is given. The direct object, test, completes the meaning of the sentence. It tells us what was given. The indirect object, me, answers the question, to whom was the test given? In both sentences, the test is given to me. Each of the following sentences is not quite right. Using what you've learned in this lecture, explain what is wrong with each sentence.